kanang I don't know if it's kanang gituyo ba to or dili, pero like na-caught sila sa kiss cam si Andy Byron and iyahang HR nga si Kristen Cabot, yeah. And then they were very cozy with each other, nag-back hug and all. And then when the camera turns to them and then na-flash sila sa screen, they panic. Si Andy ato kay ni Doc siya sa ubos, then si Kristen ato kay ni talikod siya, and then moto ni mura silag ni
then the si Chris Martin, oh look at these two.
Ipakabinan pag yun na it's either they're having an affair or like
or they're very shy.
So si Chris ato wala sa siya kabalo.
I think he was just joking, but it was like foreshadowing
because of the reaction mga, diba? They were very kuan kayo. Parang sketchy kay lang reaction
very
kay
suspicious.
Kay ilahang dako kay silang smiles niya, murag nagsway-sway pagay sila ato, and then the moment nga ni turn na ang camera sa ilaha kay like na shock ilahang face, murag na drain jud ang color silang now, and then mo na to ni tago si funny kay ni tago si CEO si Andy, and then Kristen kay ni talikod siya, and then ni adto sa murag side I don't know if it was his kanang friends.
Ang tupad man daw niya to kay kauban man tindaw sa company.
Unsa kanilang company?
Astronomer. It's a tech company.
Interesting. So what are your thoughts on that? My initial thoughts is kinumdum ko nga we were supposed to shoot content a few weeks ago, and then I was asking Kuya Magic and you guys nga, what about the if you're gonna take a video of people, the public, like kung makitaan na to sila sa video, don't we need to ask permission, diba? We can't really do that, right? I was in fact Kuya Magic was saying, don't you? I think you need to like have them sign something like a NDA or something like that, right? So I'm curious about that. But what are the privacy issues regarding that matter? Does that mean that because you're in a public place, that means that they can show your face anytime, anywhere at the will and behest of I don't know, the producer, the cameraman, the artist? I don't know whose responsibility was that, or who's in charge of the camera? Was it like a random thing? And if it was there like, aren't you supposed to ask permission and so on and so forth? What are your thoughts on that initially?
Maka-explain sa Alarian eh. Basta ako from media laws man, I'm gonna learn is if you're in a public place, wala na legal grounds if like mahagip ka sa camera if ang place is public. So if makuha ka concert, like example concerts, ni bayad man jud ka na public space man na. So if makuha ka sa camera is okay ra. Di siya need to get formal consent gyud.
And for I think I'm not sure with the Coldplay concert, but there are concerts that already inform the fans na like, oh, we're gonna have this segment, so maybe just get ready and all that. So something like that.
Basically, I think buying the ticket gives consent na to be filmed or something.
And I'm not sure, tinod ba to katong statement release ni Andy?
Na ni kung ano siya ni step down as CEO?
No. Kanang I just saw this sa koan nga he took accountability nga. Wala ko sabot kung accountability ba to, but then he said nga it was supposed to be a private moment na ngano dong gi-show more ngano ba, and people were saying, dude, you're in a public place, so what do you expect kanang
so that's
it to
why
be private?
That's why I started the conversation with that. Like, so unsa man gyud, like if we need full an NDA when we take a content of a video that maapil by accident ang ubang tao, doesn't that apply also to that? Kay public place man unya pasign nimo, di ba?
If they have signed an agreement, then wala na sila
mo lagi
kuan sa
mo lagi, so
content creator.
Maybe it depends from country to country siguro sa like city to city, di ba? So asa where was this shot?
Sa US.
Sa US, okay.
Kaya na Philippines, diba? Katong giguni lagi sa media laws, if like in public ra kanya mahagip ka sa camera, wala ra na problema.
The least you can do is ask, pwede ba, like, can you take it down? Kung musugot sad, or like, some content creators, they would blur kanang mga strangers nga face, especially mga minors. Pero katong, ilang Andy, kabaw naman sila good, yun ay kiss cam, so like, kanang naadyo ng ingana ba, like,
naman to na film before them, so
Yeah,
they already knew. that was gonna happen. And
Ilan, ni-sign up lang dyan sila.
kiss
You know,
cam culture is
yeah,
already big naman po dito sa US.
Okay. Interesting, right? Anyway, so our time, it is 10:25. If you want to join our conversation, please text 0999-887-6070. You can also join us on our Facebook page, Tops Media Center, on YouTube, Tops Media Center. Ang atong hisugutan karong muntag atong kiss cam incident as ni Chris Martin of Coldplay. Nganong ni apil man si Chris Martin yani. It was their concert, obviously, right? But was it like part of their gimmick nga mag kiss cam? Kind of kiss cam. It's not. It's very common, right?
Yeah.
Especially in the NBA, in basketball. In the US, right? During halftime breaks, like there's a camera that's focused around the audience, and then if there's a couple or whatever, you know, it depends on what they are asked to do. Maybe like a dance cam,
Dance.
sayawon or kiss cam, whatever, right? So it's a very common thing. Anong ni-appeal man si Chris Martin, and was it part of the program, a part of his concert or their concert as a band nga mag-kiss cam? Was it like a love song that they're playing?
I think it was part of their ganang break gani in between their sets, and then there was a kiss cam, and then see Chris Martin, he was the one who's like throwing out commentaries sa mga kuhan, oh, they're very sweet, something like that. Then sa katong ilahan ni Andy Byron and ni Kirsten Cabot kay moto ni comment siya na either they're having an affair or they're very shy. Actually, that's the comment na ni Spark sa sa mga affair rumors nila. So yeah, that was his part as the.
And you cannot say nga, friends lang mo. Kay,
They were actually embracing.
yeah. And then like, mura jud si Kirsten ang wife ni Andy ato.
Yeah.
And people are saying favorite band po to ni siyang wife ang Coldplay. So like people are saying hala betrayal, bagaag na ang sa husband and all that. And I just saw sad sa koan nga like itanggal niya ang last name.
Yeah, actually.
What a move.
Yeah.
Interesting. Our time now, it is 10:27. What are your thoughts on that conversation? Okay, tell us 0999-887-6070. The kiss cam incident of Chris Martin. Now, yanam ko noy morag nanam ko noy tawag ni ani si Chris Martin. Every time there's a kiss cam incident or na kiss cam gimmick nila, nam ko noy morag statement na siya isulti, di ba?
Oh, mo na gisyo sa like kanang before you kanang come here sa concert ka like do your makeup ana kay klaro ba kay mong face ana kay morag a little zoom in jud siya. And there's also similar kanang ingana nga incident kani here sa diri sa kanang asa ni TCH kanang yung pitik. So like yan. Usually na sa Saturday or Sunday na jud pitik, and then kanang mga mapitikan kanang mga motorista good kanang mga local baron or kanang mga ni ana bisan kinsa gud ilang pitikan inya kay naiuban nga mo reklamo kay kanang masakpan sila sa ilahang girlfriend. So for example na post ani then na share usay kay sa kuan man kanang mga group page gani. And then makitaan sa girlfriend inya muna kanang ipakaon ang boyfriend. Dayon si boyfriend siya ang uban jud na kay mang blame or like kanang mang blame sa kanang namitik ba. Okay ra girl if you'd ask kanang pwede i-delete na lang ni kay nag-away na mi sa ang girlfriend pero namo uban bagag nang sila pa yung mga away sa namitik. Like kabaw naman mo nga naadji mamitikay diha nganong magdala-dala pa man jud og magagaagi pa man sa side chick.
They're saying that this is the post-privacy era kuno ba, aside from post-truth, post-privacy era kuno, like nothing is ever private anymore. Even our most intimate and deepest, darkest thoughts are being recorded by the phone, right? How can they do that? They'll see what you're searching, right? For example, you have a dark thought, for example, and you're searching for it, right? So that's the end of privacy, right? For example, let's just give a classic example. Let's just say you think you have a disease, right? And then you Google it, right? And you search for it, and then the algorithm will find out people. There are actual people You don't know from halfway across the world who kibaon sa search nimo, di ba?
Yeah.
So I think that's the bigger issue here, right? Privacy, di ba?
Yeah.
Like kanang pamitikay sa kaning motor o katong kiss cam. Like, are we in an era now where privacy is like dead and gone? Like even your deepest, darkest thoughts na ay makibalo na ikaw, Christine, for example, na Google ka and you think you have a disease, and then a person on the other side will know that particular act of yours. So ang assumption niya, naada siya aning a disease, di ba? So what is he gonna do with that information? Is he gonna announce it to the world? You search for this particular disease, and so on and so forth, di ba? And he doesn't know for sure, but he's going to probably attach it to you. You have that particular disease because you search for that, or but the truth is it's actually somebody else who has that disease. But he will never know. He just make conclusions,
Yeah.
di ba? Because we like to make conclusions, right? Because it's easier to make conclusions. So I think the bigger issue here is kanang mamitikay, kanang the kiss cam incident is really privacy. So I think what are your thoughts on that? Where are we now in privacy? Wala na gyud tay, as human beings, we are no longer allowed any private moment. What are your thoughts on that?
Unfortunately, I think it's true that we are in the quote-unquote post-privacy era. Especially every day we're on our phones, our devices, we enter information and whatnot every day. And as you said, there are people behind the screens who wait for that information to come to them, and it really depends on their intent, because there are people na wala ra sila na with the information, but there are people also who want to exploit that information. I actually remember an example, like katuging The Great Hack sa Netflix.
Yeah.
Katong i-watch na pag social media. So kaning sa The Great Hack,
Was it a documentary or a
Yeah, kind of a
movie?
documentary.
Okay.
yeah,
How long ago was this? What year?
2016 mo na
Oh, post pre-pandemic, so 2016. Let me look for that. Continue. Go ahead.
Because the ang main na event na spotlight ato na documentary was the 2016 US elections. And during that time, Trump launched this campaign called Project Alamo. So kato na Project Alamo, kay murag ang premise ato is that Trump used a lot of the social media, for example, Facebook, and I think Cambridge Analytica, that scandal, if you guys remember.
Yeah, I remember that.
Cambridge Analytica na
I remember that,
scandal.
yeah.
So, ang gibuhat daw sa Project Alamo, they used Facebook. And remember, like sa Facebook, you guys take mga surveys,
Yeah.
or kanang mga games, ganin, and one of mga Facebook na, Facebook will, there's this box, and one asa na, Facebook, if you tick this box, Facebook will have your information and your friends' information before you can play that game or you can answer that survey. So, inig-tick na mo na box mo, yes, gani ka na, automatic, imuhang information, and ang information sa imong friends, or sa imong friend list, na nasa Facebook. And they take that information to sort of curate content for you for the algorithm. So, for example, imong nakuha nila information kay, you are a supporter of kanang the opposite campaign, the opposite party. So, ang ilang buhaton, ang gibuhat nila ato is they get content from about the opposite party, but kanang villainized na content or demonized na content. And then, mo na ang content nag-feed sa imong algorithm. That's what they did with the Project Alamo and Cambridge Analytica thing. So, it really...
So they manipulated what was going to your feed.
Yeah.
So what was that again? When you search for content that what
do you mean?
What are you saying? How are you fed the bad version, the evil version of what you're looking at? If what triggers it?
Kuan man, di ba, like sa Facebook, do you guys remember na you kanang na mga surveys you need to answer?
Correct, yeah.
Or mga games, kanang OMG, kanang
Yeah.
na games.
Yeah.
And then,
And then
before ka makaplay na games, di ba naman na yung mga gamay na box na you have to tick.
Mm.
And na yung statement next to that box saying na, if you consent or if you want to play this game or if you want to play or answer this survey, you have to tick this box.
Okay.
And Facebook will get your information and your friend list. So when you tick that box and you play the game or you answer the survey, automatically, you give consent to Facebook na pwede mo makuha kong information
Okay.
and my friend list information. So, dili ra ikaw ang madamay, imong mga friends po sa Facebook, makuha ila information. And that information was now harvested and basically ginagamit nila to curate the content that I'm telling you. Like atong, example, nakibaw sila na you're a supporter of the opposite party.
Mm.
So they give you content about the opposite party, but it's content that villainizes the opposite party. So it's a form of manipulative propaganda. Yeah. That was, I was like, watching that documentary, I was actually scared kay, especially ako kay, ganun ba ako mo answer mga survey niya. Hala! It's very dangerous to think about.
Yeah, and the most insidious part of it is sometimes or most of the time we don't even know that we are being manipulated. Okay ra siguro kung kibaho ta, di ba?
Yeah.
At least makasagang pa ta. Pero wa ta kibaho niya kana man kung manipulation good done by social media but is in small increments ba mo i-nudge lang bitaw dili gid bitaw automatic bitaw.
Yeah, we just thought we were playing games and something like that. Nagikuha na dito information.
Accept cookies.
Hello.
Parehar gud anang kanang ingon nila nga a good salesman a good salesman always makes it appear that it was the customer who made the decision and not the other way around. The salesman was able to convince the customer to buy. It was the idea is he came up with the decision by himself, by the sales lead, or if you will, right? So mora sa ng social media nga inadge na kagamay-gamay nga direction padung sa ilang ganahan, pero at the end of the day you still have to make your conclusion, but you're already helpless. Wala kay mabuhat niya na kay gikuan na
Nag-feed ni mo.
You were put in a corner ba, a hypothetical corner ba nga. You just have no way of making a decision otherwise. Ano bitaw? Murag ganing wa na kay, or you're helpless ba? And that's really the most insidious part of it, right? And we don't even admit it. That we think that, you know, ako mo mo decide at the end of the day, di ba? Isug pa kita sana, di ba? We have free will and so on and so forth, right? But in many ways, we're actually pretty helpless when it comes to the internet, because they don't change you overnight. It's in small doses every now and then. Content here, content there, video here, video there. Pag human, at the end of the day, you just realize nga you're a different person. But the truth is also, we're all changing all the time, di ba? I mean, like, if you read a diary, if you do read a diary about yourself and your life 10 years ago, you will be surprised how stupid you were 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
So kanang atuang malleability is actually already there. That's already a mechanism of the mind. Nga mausab gyud na ang tao, mausab gyud na imong panghuna-huna whether you like it or not. Di ba? What was that saying? Only fools don't change their minds, di ba? Right? So mausab gyud na imong huna. Ang social media lang mo na mo nudge sa ilahang ganahan nimo nga usbon, di ba? What do you think of that, Oliver? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, sakto yun, Merg. Merg, ang gihatag nila ka illusion of choice. Basically, Merg, nag-scroll ka diha, ganun ko yung content, not knowing ng algorithm, ga-take note na sa mga ipang pislit. And eventually, kung na, di ba, kung sa yung environment, maput ikaw. So, kung sa ipang consume ni mo diha, in the long run, may influence you ka to act, like, to act kung sa feed sa imuha. So, eventually, yeah, ni change as a person for yourself, but is it really for yourself because of yourself?
Mo lagi ka nang, like, we all can agree nga privacy is kanang very visible but very vulnerable, sadly.
Yeah.
We know nga kanang we are at risk, but at what kanang
At what cost?
Yeah. So kung example perhanang kanang nagtuura kag kaning wala ra ni nga survey pero gikuan na day imong information and all that kanang imong gipang click nga link kana kung isad na among usually mabiktima ra ba na kanang mga link nya kanang mo log in sila kay mga tiguang na mga older generation kay they don't know nga unsa man nila. They thought nga especially kanang you will win this chu and then kay my mom keep
virus
asking
na dito.
Kanang unsa man ni kanang nya na siya i-click kung ayaw jud click og any link then tapos need og it will need your information like kanang imong email, imong password.
Mo na nitabo sa isa na katita kay mo ni click siya og link then na-hack dalit yung Facebook niya. Ang nag-hack siya ang Facebook ni chat sa mga friends na nga yung kwarta and moto.
So that's really that's really at the root of it all, di ba? I know we were just talking about the kiss scam of Chris Martin and Coldplay and the CEO and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, it's a privacy conversation, diba? For example, katong what's the CEO's name again?
Andy.
And you even know his frigging name, right? And you don't even know that that company exists in the first place. And now we know of what's that? Astronomer. Like maybe it was fine for him public. I mean, I'm just taking the other side, so that we can have a conversation. Maybe it was fine for them to do it publicly, but lain na sa ng jumbotron, lain na sa ng camera. That's another issue because it's not just the people there, right? Maybe they were in another zip code. Maybe they were in another country. Maybe dili sa taga America, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe they are, but from a different state. So maybe like that public thing was fine. But if maabot na ka sa screen unya i-video na sa laing tao, who owns that? Who owns that, right? Who owns that? Is that the person who owns the jumbotron or the kanang jumbotron mo nang LED screen, di ba? We call that a jumbotron because like huge, di ba? In the middle of the stadium. So who owns that? And if somebody takes a video of that of the jumbotron and spreads it on social media,
digital footprint.
yeah. So who owns, whose responsibility is that? And so on and so forth. So you signed up for a non-disclosure agreement, for example. Natay video nga content nga himo diri sa top sa Sky 360 ga video ta, right? Unya na nilabay nga tao, right? Mingon siya nga di ko mosugot, di ba? Pero na-post na to ang video. Na-post na tong video. So gipapas iyang naong. Pero na ni nakasave ato.
Yeah.
So and then it's forever there on the internet, right? On YouTube, for example. Right? So, kinsa may tagiyana.
Na case familiar ani sa ano ko sa Medlos kanang murag if mo share ka sa content na gibawal murag usa ka sa pwede kasuhan.
Yeah, actually oo. Kanang magkuan gani kanang spread og example dili nimo hang kuan jud ang content imo ra siyang gi-share niya. Ni puno pa jud kag another
Oo, ni share ka
appeal ka na sa mga kasuhan.
Magpatong-patong ang
So
imo.
guys, dili ta patakag share, okay?
But see, the problem is kanang internet, that's so difficult to monitor, di ba? I mean, there are 8 billion people in the world and majority of them are using the internet and like you just have the volume of content that's being churned out, that's being made every single second. It's probably like grabe jud kayo ba, di ba? Mo nang nangita gud sila tabang sa algorithm sa machine, di ba? So lisod kay nang pag-manipulate na natong or pag monitor ng mga atong hisgutan, di ba? Tingog sa undog mo pag-monitor nimo na. So monang the internet or the social media sites, these companies, they only act kung ay complaint, but at least mas specific. Ilang gipangita ba? Mura man you're like looking for a needle in a haystack kung mangita kag usa ka video. I know some people nga who are in charge of for example, there was like a scandalous video of you on the internet somewhere, right? So there are actually people who people pay to sort of like delete that as much as you can from the internet, but it costs money also, diba? So maybe at the end of the day it's still money, right? At the end of the day it's still how much resources you have can give you the privacy that you need.
Mabita to. I read sa kanang Crazy Rich Asians na book na kanang ang richest of rich daw di ang tinuod daw na rich dili siya dili sila on mainstream kay ilang money ilang gigamit para privacy dili para ano
kaya ang mga new money, mga loud money, they want to kind of show the world how they have this tons of riches nya muna ang mga old money kasi mga conjud
they don't use their money for publicity but rather for privacy
kaya ganahan sila nga kanang ilahang information is very limited
motto in the book walay nakabalo kung asa nang puyo ang Young family. You don't even know the name Young actually.
I haven't watched that.
Have
you watched that?
Dili Slater Young.
Alay po.
Okay, bawam ko na taasa po yung Slater Young.
So let's see kung mo file bag lawsuit or anything si Andy Byron.
It's just I'm just curious ba like from that angle but obviously I mean we're not here to make any judgments, right? But we will anyway because we are like that. They were having fun and they look kind of sweet and all that stuff and whatever, right? So the only conclusion that we can make based on what we see without any explanation is they were having a quote unquote affair, diba?
Yeah.
So but I think the bigger issue here that people are not talking about is a privacy issue, right? Like what is going on? are we totally and completely no longer private out there? If you step out into the world, is that already the public space outside of your house? Kung na makapicture nimo ni gawas kasi mong balay, di ba like people get sued and stuff, right? Kung na
Actually,
mga paparazzi, di ba? They get sued.
The thing is, sir, is ganang, if naka-outside public space, di ka pwede maka-file og lawsuit, ana. Pero, if ang photographer na sa public space, but example, sa window sa imong balay nakita ka, pwede ka maka-file og kaso. Ana.
So, kung
within your
naka sa imong property.
But at the same time, mura na lang hypocritical paminahon ang mga artista, especially kanang sa showbiz or mga influencers nga mapicturean sila, mabidyohan sila sa public. Kaya mo guna ilang negosyo, good. Their negosyo is publicity, di ba? And whether you like it or not, in fact, I just saw Superman, and I saw the amount of time, money, and resources that they spent promoting the movie. They went all over the world. They went to Asia. I think did they go to the Philippines?
Di ba naman tayo content sila ni Lumpia Queen?
Wala ko kabawan.
Silang
Abby something.
Put
Lumpia Queen.
Superman na lumpia.
Superman.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is they spend millions of dollars to promote their movie, and that's their thing, publicity, right? So for you to complain about the very thing that made you famous, I think it's disingenuous. What do you think of that?
But yeah, I mean, it's correct that artists are, like that's their job to be like seen in public and all, but it depends mo good if asa sila. Kay for example, I remember katukang Aya gani na kon, 'di ba? Family gathering man tukang Aya.
Who's
Correct.
Aya? Who's Aya?
Bini Aya.
Sir.
Bini Aya.
Bini Aya. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kay iya mo gud kay family gathering man to, which is supposed to be a private
Intimate event, yeah.
Okay.
intimate event. Then gipicturean siya dito, which wala siya ganahi pod.
What was she doing? What was she doing in
They
the
were
thing?
eating.
They were eating ra, and then kanang normal ko ano good nag-catch up sa family kay busy ba ilang schedule and all
was
that.
Was it a public restaurant or basta balay nila?
Public
Public
restaurant
restaurant.
man go to.
Oh.
So what does the word public even means, huh? In this case now, so kung di ba restaurant is supposed to be private, right? Like public. What does public mean? If you have money and you can get in, if you have money, that's already public, right?
I
Yeah.
think by public is there are other people in that space that
Okay.
you don't really know.
Like you would share the same space ba with
Shared
this,
space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the strangers.
Mm.
And I think karon sa privacy ba libog na kay siya no, pero I think kita na lang sad no nga example na artist then latawar pud sila dili lang pud ta like nana pud nato ba decency nga uy dili lang sa ta wait, later na lang guro ko mag-ask og picture kanang humana sila kaon or di na sila busy. Nara pud yun na sa taw kay no di man sa ta kaingon nga di man sa kaingon si Bini Aya or any artist that nga okay I'd file a lawsuit or kanang iko anti ka kay you're invading my
Private.
privacy, which is you're in a public place and mo man na imuha publicity man jud imuhang gina serve and all that. Pero kung kita as fans limit ourselves, guys. Okay.
Na Google definition sa public, under the authority of the government or belonging and available to the people, not private. So pasabot siya na kanang restaurant siguro, that's probably not public, that's probably private, di ba? So the private ness of it is owned by the person who owns the
restaurant.
that's yours. So whatever you do within the premises of your restaurant, practically you can do as long as you don't break any rules of the land, right?
Or what mo to like ni dine in man sad ang customer then nagpicture siya ni Aya. Pero I'm not sure if kanang restaurant ito nga kanang pandato. I remember murag
Mag naka-private room na to sila. Di ko sure. Mura mag-separate na room good na sa videos.
Kano sa mga incident?
last year, I think so.
Oh, last year dugay na pud siya.
And na-backlash sila ato sadly. Kay ngano daw dapat daw humble sila since they're still starting. Dapat daw kanang i-allow kay kung without the fans di sila maabot sa unsa ilang na reach ron. And then basta debatable jud to siya kay other side mukampi sila ni Aya kay they understand nga every kanang celebrity needs their privacy and then
every person.
yeah. Especially among mga celebrity kay always everyday na lang sila i-showcase silang life and then others would say nga kanang mo man yung trabaho you signed up for it so why not kanang take a picture with them, it won't take kanang hours, it will just take kanang few seconds to picture and all. And then Aya was just she was not kanang suko nga kuan in kanang sa Instagram. Doon siya na siya ng rant. She was just
all caps.
yeah, she was just telling nga kanang dapat mga yung ana
Respect lang
i-respect lang privacy. Kay naram say time for that nga mag-picture.
That's what fan meets and other like fan content is for.
Yeah. Na ang pala nakabul ang masama kay mga tao makalimot na ang artista tao pud gani. Avec like their figures in that you see in the TV.
We put them at a pedestal.
Yeah, murag di na mo makita na ay murag dapat pod respetuan pod kung ilang humanity.
I think ang mga tao dili makibaw nga tao na imong gitan-aw. I think I'm not sure if they think that dili sila tao, like what does that mean? Like if I see a big star, dili na sila tao. I think what they want is the expectations of that person is maybe the character in which they played in the TV series, the character that they played in the movie, the character that they know who they think that person is. Mo na yung expectations, diba? Nga kani sila and artista and kaning whatever public figures. So nas expectations nga ani ni sila. Kunya kung ilang expectations also katao, dili mao. Dili mao, dili parehas, then masuko sila. So I think they still look at them as human. Pareha kog naong nila go, di ba? In fact, na ilong ni mata. So tao gyud pa ng ilang pananaw, pero ang ilang expectations lang lahi siguro sa in real life, di ba? Ana, di ba?
Yeah, they're just saying don't meet your heroes.
Don't meet your idols.
Yeah.
Kay madisappoint na natin com theory ani.
Correct.
Halo effect?
Not halo effect kanang nalimot ko katong kamo ko nag-report ani limot ko. Basta theory.
Assignment na lang to guys, if you know
Halo
kung si
effect
pasabot
po
ni Oliver, go comment it down.
Yeah.
Or text
0999-887-6070. We're talking about the
privacy and all.
privacy issues and the kiss cam of Chris Martin's Coldplay and Andy of that company. Speaking of pictures, kana bitang kamante ka na mag-selfie ka usahay. Onya nay tawo mo labay. Onya maapil.
Photobomb.
Onya mo mo photobomb. Onya ma-video bomb tawag na kung video. Unsa man na, like what if I don't like that I'm there in your video? Like, do I have power over you? Like, can I say don't post that because I'm there? Nakitaan ko diya sa video. How does that work?
Yeah, I think especially if normal citizen na sila nagpicture guro. Okay ra guro, pero if content creator, I'm not sure. Pero pwede guro mo come up sa kuan nga okay, I'll just blur it out. Inig ka labas na ko ani nga content.
So maghuwat na siguro sila complain, di ba?
Oh, kana
Usually,
mura
diba?
dyan na.
Diba?
Nga ipa-take down, nga na.
Okay. Kana mag-selfie ka nga niya, photo bomber. This one is Eat Combo and Selfie Mode. 105.1 TMC. We'll go back to another conversation. What are we talking about next, Ili? Hillary? And Ollie?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the Pacquiao versus
Oh,
Davis fight.
oy.
What happened yesterday?
Oh.
Very fresh.